Hello, I am Mitch Cohen. I'm on the board of directors with the Art Colony Association, the producers of the Bayou City Art Festival. Bayou City Art Festival launched this new Art Talk series as a fundraiser, as well as to stay connected to our audience and the arts world. Our spring event at Memorial Park was canceled due to COVID-19, and our fall event is going to be virtual. I want to thank our sponsors tonight, KPRC2, Frost Bank, and Stellar Artois, and you are welcome over here to donate anytime. Text Save Our Art to 243-275. It'll remain there. You can make a one-time small donation, large, or my favorite, monthly. I want to introduce you to our guest artist tonight. She was the Bayou City Art Festival Memorial Park featured artist in 2017, Amanda Bennett. Hello, Amanda. Are you there?
Hey.
Hey. Howdy.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent.
Are you? You're in New Orleans, right?
I am in New Orleans. Yes.
Awesome.
Your Twin City neighbor.
Only 6 hours away. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Amanda Bennett. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let me first say, I'm incredibly grateful to be here. I was really honored when I was asked to do this in the first place. And then after I look at the list of other people that are invited to do this, the other happy hours that are taking place throughout the fall, I felt incredibly honored and overwhelmed. There's some really great and amazing artists in there, and to be included and asked to have this conversation, it's amazing. So thank you, Bayou City Art Fest, for having me. So I feel really grateful to be here. And, shout out to Tony, who is going to be on in a few weeks. No
That's
pressure,
right.
but he always comes to the table with like some hardcore entertainment. So I'm like expecting some beautifully choreographed capoeira, drum, battalion performance, something. So no pressure, Tony, but
he brings that to the festival. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights. I know that some people may feel like it's a little too loud, but it's always one of the best things that happens. Yeah, for sure.
Don't worry, we're not putting that kind of pressure on you tonight. You can just show your art and talk.
No, there will be no dancing nor no choreography of any kind.
You did bring a drink, I understand, something to upstage Gonzo's drink from a couple of weeks ago.
So
Paletta palette?
Yeah.
Did I say that wrong?
We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
How do you pronounce it? What am I saying wrong?
I was watching when Gonzo was doing his talk, and he came to the table with lots of energy and also came really strong with his happy hour cocktail. And it was impressive in all sorts of ways. So I kind of scratched my original plan, and I decided to go with what I'm going to call the post Gonzo smoothie. So this is
tasty.
This is your recovery drink after Gonzo's cocktail that he shared.
He had an enormous glass, I recall. It took 2 hands to pick his up.
That was no glass. That was definitely more like an aquarium. For sure.
There may have been a fish in there.
Yeah. But this little there's a little background to this fancy smoothie here. So it does not contain alcohol if you're looking for that. I suppose you could put some in, but it might negate the point of it. But during quarantine, we ran across this smoothie recipe that coincidentally Reese Witherspoon shared and said she's been drinking this every day because she saw Kerry Washington like years ago at some awards banquet or something, and was like, wow, your skin is really amazing and beautiful. Like, what do you do? And Kerry Washington was like, I think that it's honestly this smoothie that I drink every day. And so now I guess Reese Witherspoon has also been drinking it for like 8 years straight every morning. So we decided that we would give it a shot. Is not for the faint of heart. Like, let me give you some pro tips here as you're creating this,
Okay.
because per the recipe, you know, it's like calls for 2 heads of romaine lettuce. And if you go like to Whole Foods and get a nice fresh head of romaine lettuce, it's very large. So you can probably go with that one. But key to everything is to make sure you have a very good blender that really, really breaks that romaine lettuce down. And also go with 2 bananas, not 1, because it calls for 1, but you need a little extra kick. But drink this. And do I look like Kerry Washington yet? No.
This kid's looking pretty good.
Oh, okay.
You're looking good.
So
I might bring a little umbrella for the next time we meet.
You know what? That's it. That would really just like cap it off. That would be perfect.
Tell us a little bit. How did you get interested in art, Amanda?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a long journey and something that really started later in my life. You know, my grandmother was an artist, and she also didn't start doing art until she was older. My grandparents moved to Alabama, where I'm from. They moved to Alabama from Texas, from Fort Worth, to be in the aerospace engineering program. And my grandmother didn't have any friends and didn't really have anything to do. And there was a woman down the street that she was friends with. And so the woman just said, here, start painting. And so she did. And she became pretty prolific and did some art shows and things like that. Actually, she did some shows in the 60s that I currently do. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now she was like big time award winner and highly collected and everything. So I've got a lot to shoot for. But yeah, so when I was younger, you know, when we would go over to my grandparents' house, sometimes she would be painting, and my grandmother actually painted with a spatula, not a palette knife, but a spatula, like a Rubbermaid spatula, like you would ice a cake with.
Interesting.
And so she liked that it was a little more rigid than a paintbrush, but you know, a little more giving than a palette knife. So anyway, there were times that she would paint and she would, you know, let me paint a little bit. And so when I was younger, you know, I did art and stuff sometimes in school, like in elementary school, but then I really just, you know, as I got older, I really focused on sports. And, you know, I grew up in a household. My dad was a football coach for almost 50 years. And so sports were very prevalent in our house. They weren't expected, but it was just very much a part of our house. But my mom also did art. She did more crafts. And so she did some shows and things mostly around our hometown. But she also really loved theater and music and art. And so we had, you know, dual exposure there. But
that's good. There's some creativity in the house still.
Yes, there was still some creativity, not from my dad. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching, but
Gotta stay fit.
What's that?
You have to stay fit too, so.
That's true. So there was some balance there. But yeah, I went off to college, still didn't really do any art. And once I graduated, I was a poor graduate, and had a new apartment, wanted to hang some stuff in my house, but certainly couldn't go and afford to buy art on my own. So I just decided I would make it. And
that's a great idea.
So yeah. And, you know, fast forward to several years later, I was still just kind of casually doing it. My grandmother got really ill, and as she was going through her illness before she passed away, I started painting again, just to relive some of those moments and memories with her. And then after that, I just kept it going, and friends would come over and say, "Hey, who painted that? Can you paint one for me?" And that's how it all began.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did, where do you find inspiration today?
Well, my main go-to, my big fallback is always, I love mid-century advertising. Um, that's kind of where a lot of things start for me. So I love the color combinations, and I love some of the simplicity of the advertising and things like that. But a lot of my current work starts from a found photo. So images from 50s, 60s, 70s, and I'll take that image and put it into a new scene, or create something different on top of it.
I'm looking at the paintings behind you. Are some of those from photographs?
Yeah.
That bathing suit looks a little outdated, maybe.
Yes. This lady.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah. She's definitely from the 60s.
I like those.
Oh, thank you.
What favorite projects of yours stand out in your mind?
Oh, favorite art projects?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a good question. I'll say this. I admittedly am like terrible at commission projects, and I'm saying that. And what I mean by that is this: I put so much pressure on myself when someone says, "Hey, let's do this project," or "Can you create this for me?" Because it's so different from someone coming to a show and saying, "Oh, hey, I really like that painting. I'd like to take it home." And so, so I definitely put a lot of extra pressure on myself when it comes to projects like that. But I will say I used to live in Nashville, and I was fortunate enough to do a handful of commercial projects. Obviously, Nashville has really grown a lot in the last 10 years. And I was a part of that in some of the design efforts with a couple of firms. And there was one particular business that they were huge baseball fans, and Nashville doesn't have a professional baseball team yet. But they do have a really good minor league team, and everybody likes to go, and they were building this new stadium. And so a company that was right there had me recreate, they were tearing down the old stadium and had me recreate. It had a guitar scoreboard, and it was like a really unique thing to Nashville. So he had me recreate this huge piece. It was like the old Sound Stadium scoreboard.
Wow. That sounds
You look out the window, and then there's the new Sound Stadium. So it was pretty cool. That was fun. That was a fun project.
Amazing. Yeah, commissions can be very stressful. You don't have the creative flow that you normally do when you're just working for yourself.
Very true. I am very grateful for them. Hear me, virtual world. I love commissions, and the pressure won't be on you. It will be on me. I promise.
Our own worst critic is ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
Well, what would your dream project be? Did I ask that?
No. You didn't ask that.
If you had a dream project, have you thought about it?
I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about it, and I'll tell you why. And this is probably going to sound so cheesy to people. It's not something.
It is happy hour.
It is happy hour. Everybody take a drink and then listen to this cheesy statement I'm about to make. The truth is, this is a dream. Like, being a full-time artist is a real gift. I have so much gratitude for being able to do this with my life. And, I did not start off in art. I started way late in life, and I had several careers prior to this. And so to be able to do this is it is a dream come true. I mean, I travel all over this country. I meet incredible people, and they think enough of something that I have taken the time to create. They think enough of it to hang it in their home. Wow. Like, that's unbelievable that you just sit in your room and you create an idea and someone says, yeah, I want to look at that every day. And that is, that's unbelievable to me. And it is definitely hard work. I think people who aren't artists or have not done this before and don't do it full time, maybe, don't realize how much work you put into it. But I certainly work harder at this job. Also, shout out to former bosses if y'all are watching. I work harder at this job than I ever have any other one where I was working for someone else. So this is the dream. This is the dream project right here.
I bet it doesn't feel like work though. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Now, when I am like packing up a van and setting up a tent in 90-degree weather, Houston.
That's devotion.
Yeah. But then you set it up and you forget about it because for 3 days you are bombarded by really beautiful people, great conversation, and hopefully you're selling some work. So, but it can be tough at times.
I thought it might be fun to talk about the ins and outs behind the scenes at the art festival. Maybe in a few minutes.
Okay.
So do you have we have an auction piece we're gonna present tonight. Do you have that with you?
I do. This is it right here.
Hey, I like that. So you can bid live and in the comments, and I think that'll go through 8 o'clock. And once you see that image in the comments, you can start bidding, I believe. And in a few minutes, we have one of our guests, a new guest, our sponsor from Frost Bank, Kristen Smith is here. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Mitch. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Amanda.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm so proud to represent Frost Bank and the thousands of Frost bankers that have worked hard every day to make our communities better places to live and work. We've actually been in business for over 150 years, and we've been here in the Houston area for over 43 of those over 150 years. And we're based out of San Antonio, so some people aren't as familiar here in the Houston area. So we have decided to change that, and we started an expansion a couple years ago where we were actually going to double our presence here locally in Houston, Texas. And we're going to add 25 new locations. We've opened 18 of those already, and we're going to open the rest of the following months. We've filled more than 210 new positions there, and we're still hiring. And thanks to the powers of Zoom, I look like I'm coming to you live from one of our newest locations in the Katy Mason area. And for all of our history with our new locations, we always support the local community through events and sponsorships of all kinds. And I'm so sad that we can't be live in person to meet together, but I'm so glad that we're here virtually with our Save the Art program supporting Bayou City Arts Festival. So I'm so pleased to hear from you more, Amanda, and I've loved hearing your story of your journey so far, and can't wait to see what else you have to tell us tonight, and all of the trivia and all of the rest of the happy hours that you guys are hosting. And on behalf of all of us at Frost, just thank you so much for letting us be a part of this event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We need the support.
Yeah, everybody donate.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, can you show us that piece one more time? And I've been told that bidding, thanks, Kristen. The bidding will end at 7:30. So jump in there when you're ready.
All right.
Like that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can also anytime donate, text Save Our Art to 243-725. We'd appreciate it. This is a fundraiser. And also on the website, BisonArtFestival.com, you can purchase t-shirts. I was going to wear one, but Houstonians know it was raining earlier. Mine's kind of wet, but they're really cool. There's also mugs and all kinds of goodies on there. I recommend purchasing in multiples so you can give them away as gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Buy
What?
in bulk.
Right, exactly. We don't mind. It has been a rough year, 2020, and the festival. This is the first time ever, and I don't think I mentioned it, but this is the 49th year for Bison Art Festival. So next year is 50, and this is the first time that the festival has had to cancel both events.
Wow.
And one of our missions is to give, we have given away millions of dollars to our nonprofit partners. And, that's just sad. So the support we're getting tonight will go towards our, producing festivals next year in the spring and fall. So we really appreciate you for doing that. So Amanda, I was going to ask you on this dour note, what do you think of how does art impact positivity? So we all need a little bit of that.
How does it impact positivity?
Yeah.
Well, some of it doesn't.
True.
I mean, some of it doesn't. Art that's the beautiful thing about it is that it impacts and evokes all emotions, and, it's all a really personal thing. It's a personal thing for the creator. It's a personal thing for the viewer, the person taking it in. But, yeah, obviously art oftentimes carries messages, and I think that a lot of times people experience my work as having a positive vibe, sometimes humor, and all of that is true. It does exist. I mean, that is on the surface when you see it, it may evoke. I think a lot of people come in and look at my work and they have nostalgic feelings, or they're like, oh, that looks just like my grandmother. And so I do think that it has a good feeling, but, it's not necessarily the intent behind the creation, so oftentimes there is a deeper, stronger message behind the true creation of it. But yeah,
You find it therapeutic to create?
Absolutely. You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I find it therapeutic buying art also.
Say more. Say more. No,
art is good for you. Save our art.
I agree.
Does New Orleans play a role in your art? Because that city is like.
Yeah, it's like what? There's nothing. There's
nothing like New Orleans.
Yeah. I've lived here for 5 years, and it gets into your bones real quick. It is the most powerful, unique place I've ever lived, and there's not any place like it in this country for sure. And I have been so grateful to have been welcomed and invited into this community. It's been a really amazing experience. And yeah, it has certainly impacted my art. I mean, there's
some musicians behind you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, and it shows up in the colors, the texture of my work. Those are things that have always existed, but they have certainly become stronger since I've been here. They've changed. And honestly, my artwork and my execution of my work has completely changed since I've been here. When I was the featured artist at Bayou City, my work was different. I did a lot of image transfers, and I used a lot of imagery from mid-century advertising, or recreations, or,
I think that was our poster that year.
It was, yes. With
the RV.
Yeah. And, I did that for a while, and like I said, I love mid-century advertising, so that was really the driving force behind that. But I started realizing that the images available to me were not representative of the world, of my world. And there were zero positive, non-oppressive images of people of color, indigenous people. And so everything that I was creating was whitewashed. It did not represent my world, my daily world. And I started thinking, I have to make a change. Like, this is not, I wasn't comfortable with it. And so moving here and just being enveloped by the culture here, I just decided to completely change it all. And so now there is no digital sketching, there is no image transfer. It's just all painting and mixed media. And
I liked it a lot.
What's that?
I liked it a lot.
Thank you.
I can see stories in the paintings, and that's what I really go for when I'm looking at art.
Yeah.
Where's the story?
That's all from here. That's all from here for sure.
I was waiting for a question from the audience, but would you have any advice for new artists?
Oh, wow.
There's one that can go on forever, but I know there's a lot of emerging artists that do the festivals, and now they're all looking at them. You know, there's been a stretch of time.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest advice, and this is advice that I give to myself, because I have to remind myself, but is be true to yourself. You know, it's really easy to start creating things that you think people will buy, rather than creating things that are meaningful to you and that are an expression of you. And, you know, I've done both. And when I veer from being true to myself and start creating things that I think people will buy, it shows in my work, and it shows in my sales, you know. And it's just, it's a hard thing to do sometimes, especially if this is your full-time job. And, you know, you rely on people wanting to buy things and take things home. I mean, that is the whole point, you know. And so you can get caught up in creating things just to
That makes sense to me, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
if people know, if they can see the love and devotion you have in your art, they're gonna relate to that also.
I think so. And I mean, and it's reflective in your conversations with people too, right? So if somebody comes and asks you about something that you really couldn't care less about because you just created it because you thought somebody would want this guy jumping rope, like, you know, there's nothing there to share. So
we have a question from the audience. It's Dawn. She asks, if you weren't an artist, what else would you do?
Good question. That's a good question. Well, Dawn, I had a lifetime of careers before I started doing this full time, and you know, I have a background in education. That's what I went to college for. But most of my adult professional career was in sales. That is not what I want to do with my life. But that to say, when I was doing sales, because it wasn't something that I was like really invested in and emotional and passionate about, it opened up an opportunity for me to explore different things. And that is when I revisited painting. But I also used to be in a band in Nashville. And I was in a band for about 8 years, which I absolutely loved. And it was amazing. I never had any false pretenses that I was going to go on and like make it and like be some big star. But I will say it was a lot of fun. And if you do it right, sometimes you can make a living off of it. That being said,
did you move to New Orleans from Nashville?
I did, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. Yeah, so that being said, you know, yeah, music was always something that I really loved and would love to continue doing, in a of course now I'm old. So, now you don't have to appeal to anybody. You don't have to try to be cool. You can just do whatever you want to do because, but that being said, hey, everybody in my bands, except for maybe one person, is still playing professionally. So,
Awesome.
maybe there's hope. I'll get them back together.
All right, thanks. Another question from Lynn Marie. Who is your favorite artist?
Well, I will say that traditionally, my two favorite artists have always been Jean-Michel Basquiat and Andy Warhol. And I really actually love their collaboration work, which was not very highly regarded, but I really love it. Contemporary artists that I currently love, because here, this is the beauty of social media, like Instagram. If you curate yourself well, you can just constantly discover new amazing people, and it's incredible. I mean, it's overwhelming, like how much amazing stuff is out there. But currently, I really, really love the work of Danny Fox and Henry Taylor. And yeah.
Are they on Instagram? Can we look them up?
Yeah, they are on Instagram.
I might be showing my ignorance of who they are, obviously.
Danny Fox is quite an elusive British guy. He's not he's not really big on the limelight and such, but you can certainly find his work. And
okay.
And Henry Taylor too. Henry Taylor is he's on Instagram, but not always sharing his work, but he has interesting content sometimes. So
I know the last few months have certainly changed how we look at art or look for it. And I was going to ask you, how has COVID-19 changed you as an artist or impacted you as an artist? Sorry, no.
Well, that's a good question. Well, this is a perfect illustration, right, of one of the main impacts, and it's certainly impacted me personally, but obviously we're here tonight to help raise awareness and some funds to keep Bayou City going. Donate to
right
there. And full disclosure, I have not been paid to say this, but it is hands down one of my favorite shows. And I say it to everyone. Bayou City has been so good to me. Not only the show, but Houston, Texas. You guys blow me away all the time. And I would be heartbroken if this show did not continue. So donate. But that being said, obviously, this pandemic has impacted all of us who make the majority of our income through traveling and doing art shows or gallery shows. It has certainly had an impact. And I think most of us that you see out on the art circuit, that is the majority of our revenue is coming from art shows. So they are non-existent, since March, and nothing really for the foreseeable future, So, so that is obviously had an impact. That being said, outside of that, just this moment as a whole for our country, not only the pandemic, but the social justice crisis that is on the forefront and continues to exist. It has certainly impacted not only my work, it is actually very evident. And so these are all pieces that I have created since then, but also has made me very hesitant to center myself in this moment. Has COVID-19 impacted me? Yes, it has. Luckily, I have an amazing set of patrons and clients who have kept me busy. but, you know, having to put house projects on hold or curbing my online shopping or making a different choice at the grocery store seems awfully trivial compared to waking up every day and wondering if who I am in this world is going to cause me harm. So, you know, I've just, while I have certainly said, oh, hey, I've got some things for sale, you know, I've tried to use my time and try to use my platform to be vocal about that, and just really hope that as this pandemic comes to an end, that the social justice conversation continues and that stays on the forefront, and that we have some equity here sometime soon, very soon.
It's been absolutely devastating for the arts communities around the country, the world,
Yeah.
actually. But I mean, I watched it in March. You know, all my friends, you know, all their festivals were just canceled one after the other, and it started again in midsummer. All the festivals through almost early fall 2021.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing. You know, I have nothing through the end of the year, and really my next potential scheduled thing is not until spring of next year. Actually, the last one that I did before this all started. So, and fingers crossed that happens. You know.
I hope that's a big spring season. Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna. We have a trivia question,
All right.
and there's some fabulous prizes too, but we'll tell you about those later. So, in the comments, you can answer this question. So, what is 21st century artist Amy Sherlin's best? What is she best known for? A, being the first African American artist to paint the official portrait of the First Lady, or B, her famous painting of Carnegie Hall, or C, being the only female artist to outsell Pablo Picasso. So you can answer in the comments.
That's
And
also a good social media account to follow.
Oh yeah, Amy
Yeah.
Sherlin.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah.
Want to remind you also that if you make Amanda's drink, the palette.
No, post Gonzo smoothie. Listen.
Okay.
I expect that every single one of you who are watching this right now have made this, because if you haven't, what is wrong with you? Look at the skin. Come on.
She's amazing. Well, we challenge you to make the drink, and when you do, post it on social media and tag it, Save Our Art and Hugh Art Fest. You know, we love your donations also. You can donate Save Our Art to 243-725. And you want to show that piece of art again for people? I think there's, in case we have some new folks joining us, what fabulous. You can bid on this piece in the comments through 7:30. We'll be gone by then, but. So I have another question for you.
Yeah.
How long have you participated at the Bison Art Festival? And you've kind of already told us what it means to you, but how long have you been there with us?
So I was thinking back, and 2016, I believe, was my first year. And that would be correct, because I did not do it before I moved to Nashville. I mean, before I moved from Nashville, because there was something that happened at that time. So, but you know, all of my art show buddies definitely always spoke highly of it, and I wanted to do it. And bonus, moving to New Orleans, you know, I was like 5 hours away as opposed to 11. So that was like a huge, you know, that's a huge draw.
5 hours. Well, it took me 6 hours.
6 hours.
I am a slow driver, I guess.
Oh well, there is always a nice collection of construction between here and Houston every time. So, but yeah, 2016, I did the downtown show, and had the pleasure of meeting Carrie, and
She's amazing.
She is, and yeah. So then
She's behind the scenes watching us, y'all. She and Kelly put all this together for us.
Yeah, and very well coordinated, y'all out there in virtual land. It's no joke. It is very well planned out. But yeah, so 2016 was my first time, and then I got to be featured artist in Memorial Park. Actually, that is incorrect. 2015 was my first year, and yeah. And then 2016, I had to miss the Memorial Park show to a family emergency. So then the next year is when I was a featured artist. So yeah.
That's pretty good. 1 year in, and then you're the featured artist.
I mean,
and it's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, please. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Still stands as one of my best shows ever. Yeah. It was.
What did you, were you surprised? But you said you were surprised by Houstonians. Was there anything about us that struck you as amazing at that time when you first came to the festival?
I think that probably for me, and unfairly, because I am not from New Orleans, but there are a lot of people from New Orleans who live in Houston now, and so a lot of people would come in, and that's how the conversation would start, and everybody was just always so, I don't know, it's, you go different places and different shows, and I think that people experience art in different ways, but there's definitely some energy behind the people of Houston coming in to look, and there's an interaction. People want to talk to you, and that's not always the case, and that's great. I want to talk. I want to talk to you. I want you to come in, and I don't even have to talk to you about my art. Like
I spoke.
We did?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think in 2017 you were when you were featured.
Yeah.
I may have been one of the judges that chooses who's going to be best of show or whatever.
No, wow, mind blown.
I had maybe a minute and a half, and then you were bombarded by all these Houstonians who were like, let me at her.
Yeah, and that is my experience there, and I mean, it's incredible, and I do think that oftentimes I have a little bit of a younger audience sometimes. And there are a lot of young art buyers that are there, and they are ready to start their art collection. And I have been the beneficiary of that. And yeah, I mean, there are homes that I have multiple pieces in, and I am so grateful for that and blown away when they keep coming back and getting more. And so I'm forever
That's
grateful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a pretty diverse city ourselves.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And we actually have a winner for our trivia question.
All right.
So I want to congratulate Angela Heppard. I know I'm not saying that right. Heppard. And you won a swag prize pack. This is kind of, I need one of these. A Yeti tumbler from Frostbank, a Save Our Art t-shirt, a Patagonia jacket from Stella Artois, and a Houston Life drinkware from KPRC 2.
Wow.
So congratulations, Angela. You all know what the t-shirt looks like, and you can also go to help us out. And if you want that t-shirt, you can go to our website and purchase them there also. And I think I showed everyone mine, maybe.
Yeah. It's very wet, Mitch. Very wet.
Still wet. Sorry. So another question that came in. Everyone wants to know about your career path. So what were some of those sales jobs you had?
Well,
if you can talk about them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was in education for a little while, but that was short-lived. That was only for a few years. And then this is the one, the other ones I won't bore you with. This is the one that probably people are going to be most like, wow. I was a sales manager for a car dealership.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a really interesting job. Now, I will say this. I worked at a car dealership like CarMax, so there was no negotiation on prices or anything like that. So it was, otherwise, there's no way I could have done it. But yeah, so I was a salesperson for about 10 months at a car dealership and happened to do very well. And so that's how I ended up in Nashville, actually, because I lived in Birmingham, Alabama at the time. And about 10 months later, they had opened a new dealership in Nashville and asked if I wanted to go be the sales manager. So that's what landed me in Nashville. And yeah, so I did that for about 5 or 6 years. And then what happened is the financial crisis, 2008 housing crisis, and really, yeah. And it ended up closing our dealership. So, but that is when I started playing music. I mean, obviously living in Nashville, everybody plays an instrument or something. And we put together a band at the dealership is how it all started. And we were doing a benefit show for one of our employees who had a really bad accident. So we put on a big fundraiser for her. And that's how it started, just as fun. And then 8 years later, it evolved over a lot of different. That's
pretty amazing.
Yeah. But then after that, I was still doing sales in different arenas. Nothing terribly exciting.
Which do you find more relaxing, creating art or playing music? There was no comparison.
Yeah, no comparison. Playing music, I was the front person for the band, so I wouldn't say I was relaxed. Yeah. Which was really great. I mean, it's really great. It's fun to just take on an alter ego and just put it all out there. But definitely art for sure. And that's kind of what happened. I started doing art shows as I quit my sales job and decided to do art full time, and was doing art shows and also still playing gigs. And they both happen on the weekends. And so I had to make a decision, and I felt like art was maybe a more sustainable choice for me for the long term, So I feel pretty confident in my decision.
I imagine that was no fun trying to juggle those two schedules together, though.
No, I didn't. I did not have a very good, consistent sleep schedule for sure.
Well, let's see. We got another trivia question.
All right.
All about art. I think you might like this one.
Okay.
Don't give it away. What art movement employs aspects of mass culture, such as advertising, comic books, and mundane cultural objects? A, minimalism. B, pop culture. Or C, deconstructivism? I said that all in one take. So you can post your answer in the live feed on Facebook in the comments, and we'll announce the winner in a few minutes.
These are impressive giveaways,
That's some serious swag. I think we should get some of that action, right?
I'm waiting on mine in the mail.
So you, the print we have for auction.
Actually, this is an original painting.
Oh, is it? Awesome. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah.
Is that photograph?
Yeah, part of it is from a photograph for sure. It is, at the beginning of all of this, I thought, okay, I need to reinvent myself a little bit, right? And so I wanted to, come up with some smaller things, smaller original pieces, right? So we all maybe don't have the same amount of disposable income we had prior to this starting. Some of us have a lot more. But I thought that I would just start creating some small originals. So this is how I think many of us envisioned that a lot of extra time from the pandemic would look like, and maybe it didn't really turn out that way, but that was the dream. So that's what that's from.
Relate to that.
Yeah.
I found out that COVID-19 part of COVID might be around my waist now.
Oh, yeah.
I need to start making that drink.
Come on,
Yeah.
Mitch. Come on.
First thing tomorrow morning, I'll be at Whole Foods.
Look, I mean, that's like 3 days worth of fruits and vegetables right there. Can't go wrong.
I want to remind the audience that the picture is in the post on Facebook, and y'all can continue bidding until 7:30. And we'll have the winner for the next trivia question in a few minutes. So what else do you have going on these days? When people go to your website, what are they going to find?
I luckily have just updated it. So, admittedly, it has been an adjustment for me. I don't know how everyone else works, but I definitely work well against a deadline. I'll say that. So when I have something that I'm aiming for, it's a lot easier to be productive on a larger scale. What I'm grateful for is this time has given me some time to be off and emotionally focus on other things, and that's been great. But it's also given me an opportunity to spend more time with my pieces and revisit them when that's not something I normally do. So, I don't have just loads of inventory, but I've got some things up there, and I'm continuing to create just at a different pace, which is really nice for now.
Not have to be in a hurry. That's good.
Yeah.
We do have a winner. The answer is B, pop culture. And that goes to James King. Congratulations. Let's see what you win. James's swag prize pack is, surprise, a Yeti tumbler from Frost Bank, Save Our Art t-shirt, a Patagonia jacket from Stellar Artois, and the Houston Life drinkware from KPRC 2. Congratulations, James.
All
I
right.
don't think I said I didn't give the answer to the first trivia question, did I?
No, you didn't.
I believe it was A.
I believe you are correct.
Michelle Obama. I mean, I just assumed everybody knew anyway. So, I was wondering if we had another question from the audience, but I haven't seen one come in yet. But I want to remind everyone that you can text Save Our Art to 243-725 anytime. We really appreciate it. You can purchase swag similar to the prizes that we've given away tonight on our website. And also next week, Thursday, September 17th, we're going to talk with Jennifer Lashbrook from Dallas.
All right.
You know her?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I think Carrie is actually going to be doing that, moderating that one also. Continue bidding until 7:30 for Amanda's painting. And I really want to thank you, Amanda, for coming on tonight, stepping out. I know this is all new. It's definitely new to me. And thank my sponsors, KPRC2, Stellar Artois, and Frost Bank. And you, our audience, I mean, thank you so much for being here with us and listening to Amanda. And we look forward to seeing you in the spring. And don't forget our virtual festival in October. So we're going to go online. If you visit our website, BisonYardFestival.com, you can see all the activities we'll have going on. I don't know that we'll have any live interviews like this, but you can see bands and all kinds of fun things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's it tonight, Amanda. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again in Houston, or I'll look you up when I come to New Orleans.
Please do. Please do. Everyone, thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me talk. Wow. Thank you.
I enjoyed it. And before we go, I want to say one more thing. I want to give a shout out to Carrie Levenger. I should know how to say your name, Gary. I'm sorry. And Kelly Batterson, our executive director, and Carrie is the artist director of the festival. And it's a huge thing to turn around on a dime, and like when you're used to doing festivals so big and then just change it all. And this is amazing.
Yes,
We're gonna
absolutely.
make it, especially with your support. So thank you so much. You guys are doing a fabulous job. Love you all. Amanda, thank you so much.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me. I look forward to actually seeing everybody's faces in person very soon.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.